Have you ever looked at someone and thought, why does it seem to work for them, but not for me? Same goals, same intentions, very different outcomes. Today, we're going to break down why some people actually succeed with weight loss and their health goals, and how it's not discipline or motivation, but behaviors and systems. So, Erin, tell me, in all of our years of experience, whether it's been at Weight Watchers or outside of Weight Watchers, what would you say are one of the top things that help people find success?
Ooh, number 1, tracking. That whenever I weigh somebody in who's lost weight and I say, "What'd you do?" The number 1, same answer every single time, 100% tracking. Why does tracking work? Because it makes you aware of what you're doing. Many of us are ooh, la 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 la, it's not happening, even though the scale and our clothes gives us the information of otherwise. But tracking gives you a much better picture of what you're doing and what's working and what's not working. Kind of along the same lines as when I pay attention to my checking account and how much money is there. I can remember a time in my life when I wasn't very good at opening bills because I didn't want to read how bad it
Right.
was. So it's kind of along the same lines of like when you don't track because you don't want to see it, you don't always see the kind of results that you're looking for.
Yeah. And I guess for those that maybe aren't, Weight Watcher members, the word tracking is just another word maybe for a food diary, a journal, a check registry, right? It's that
Yes.
idea of writing it down, whether again, computer, notebook, whatever your way is that works for you. But we kind of treat it we're an ostrich with our head in the sand. If I don't see it, if I don't write it down, it didn't happen. But guess what? You not opening the bills didn't mean that the bill wasn't there. It might just sit in an envelope, but out in the real world at the bank, you owe money. And we do that when it comes with food, with our weight on the scale, all of that. And we forget that our body is still tracking what goes in our mouth, whether or not we see it. But the problem is that if I don't see it, if I'm not tracking it, journaling it, whatever the word is for you, I don't know what to fit. I don't have data to look back and be like, this is working for me. Look, on the days that I eat exercise or that I eat more protein and fiber, I stay more full. I'm less snacky on the days that what? I don't have any of that information to learn from if I'm not putting it down somewhere. Yeah, so I totally agree. I think that awareness, that tracking, journaling, whatever, that's probably a really big indicator of success.
Absolutely. I will say in the past, there have been periods of time where I wasn't very good at tracking because for one reason or another, I didn't want to see it. It felt like I was letting myself down and it put me in a bad mood. And then it kind of cycled into, well, I feel bad, so I'm going to go eat something I shouldn't anyway. And having the ability to flip the switch on it's just data, kind of along the lines of when if you're a person who gets on the scale every day, you see it go up and down. And so it isn't that you're doing better or poorly, it's just data.
Right. And I think that it can seem overwhelming or challenging to start to think, oh my gosh, do I have to balance my checkbook for the rest of my life? Do I have to get on the scale, once a week, every day? Do I have to look at every bite, lick, and taste that goes in my mouth? Do I have to make a grocery shopping list every time I go? Probably not.
Right. We
But
s we see people ebb and flow through the in different parts of their journey. It kinda goes along the line with the tracking that you were alluding to, that not everybody tracks the same way. Some people use apps and do it on their
right,
phones, and some people write it down on paper, and either way is successful. And some people count points, some people just count food.
right.
There's really no wrong way to do it.
Right. And you don't have to necessarily do it forever, but maybe when you come to a point where you're starting to find yourself being complacent with your health goals, right? Like your A1C is starting to creep back up. The scale, maybe isn't showing you what you want. Your pants are starting to feel a little snug again. It's another source of data to go back to and be like, okay, where am I spending all this money? What's going in my mouth? All of that information that we see when we have something to look at. So if we don't have anything to look at, nothing is going to change. And
Yes.
so probably that has been one of our top indicators of success, at least at Weight Watchers. But I also think with our health coaching as well, taking notes and learning from that, the wins, the challenges, all of it, those are great things to kind of write down. It could also be journaling your thoughts, you know,
Yes.
your emotions. How did you feel after that happened? How did you feel after you ate that? What's your schedule look like? All of that kind of ties together. Right. And for those that aren't here to lose weight, that aren't listening to us for that reason, but just are looking for better health in general as we head into 2026, this could even come down to meal planning.
Yes.
Like, we could just be writing and journaling. What am I going to be eating? Opening up my calendar to say, oh my gosh, I have 3 eating out events, or I still have, kids home from college getting ready to go back. And so, what are those last minute meals that they want to eat out or that they want home cooked before going back to a dorm? Those all take a little bit of planning and a little bit of writing it down in order to remember one in my
Yeah.
perimenopause brain, but also to be able to go and be more efficient with my time when I get to the grocery store or I get in line to order or server comes over to ask what I'm looking for. So we want to take away some of that decision fatigue that many of us face, where we just bounce right back into the old habit of, cheese fries or whatever, like let's
Yeah.
not open the bill. Let's not even go out and get the mail. Whatever those old behaviors are that are deep rooted in our, little neural pathways in the brain, we're going to default to that if I don't see it and have a plan. So let's, erase as much decision fatigue as we can. And it might start by writing it down, a little journaling, a little tracking. All right.
To piggyback off what you were just saying, Jen, I love this quote. Successful people don't hope their days work out, they decide in advance. I
Mm.
mean, taking the time to write things down, whether it's the grocery list, your to-do list. I don't know about you. I recognize when things need to be done, but if I actually don't write it down or record it, even on my phone list, it's like it just disappears into the ether and I don't remember anything. So decide
Well,
in
and there's
advance.
Yeah, decide in advance. It's a choice whether it's I'm going to choose to succeed or I'm going to doubt that I can be successful, which we talked about last week, right? All
Yeah.
those things that get in the way of success. So I have to decide now. This is the year that I'm going to be successful. I need to talk to myself in that way. Choose to eat healthy. Whatever that might be, speak into that, because whatever the mind thinks, the body's going to follow. And so yeah, decide ahead of time. That's huge, no matter what it is in whatever aspect of your life, whether business, personal, family, weight, health, any of that. That's a great quote.
I love that. Well, just one last thing before we jump into number 2. Want to share that we are adding a joining link for Weight Watchers. It is a deal for $19 a month for 10 months. To attend meetings, shops. So if you've enjoyed kind of what we've been talking about and maybe you've been a member before or you've never been a member of Weight Watchers, it's a really nice opportunity. If you click on the link in the show notes, is one that we do receive a commission off of. So just to let you know about that in advance.
Yeah, great. All right. So now that we've gotten it all written down, which actually we should probably also mention, which I don't know how you're going to have to edit all this, Erin, probably, but just the research that shows that when we think something that we think in our head, oh, I'd like to do this, I want to do that, we're only 50% likely to follow through on it. And so just taking that power from out of the head and onto paper, it even increases more when you speak it out loud, whether to yourself or to someone else, probably to someone else because then they can help hold you accountable. But we go from like 50% into, the 80 percentile range of actual follow through, just thinking, speaking, and writing. So make sure that you kind of take note of that, whatever form of note taking you do.
Love
Okay.
that.
Number 2, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, even when it comes down to the time of day when you're the strongest. Tell
Yes.
me a little bit more about that.
Well, I'm going to ask you, are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl.
Morning person.
Right. And so I don't have to get up early to exercise, to pre plan my day. I probably shouldn't. I often think, oh, if only I set the alarm a little bit earlier, I'd be so much more successful. Well, I can, but not when it comes to something like exercise, because I don't have the mental energy or the physical energy to exercise first thing in the morning. I can utilize that time for quiet time, for going outside and getting fresh air. But I've learned that that's not my strong time of day. I can get a lot of really good thinking done in the shower and a lot of good planning,
For sure.
or just late at night, no matter what it is that I'm doing. I seem to have a little bit more energy, but also mental energy. 3 o'clock in the afternoon is probably not my strong suit. I need a little bit more protein. I need something to kind of get those brain waves to like want to engage. So mid-afternoon probably is another time of day that I need to set aside and not give myself big goals or big ambition.
Well, I often think about you and that you are often going for a walk after dinner,
Yeah.
where for me, I feel like after dinner, I am done. I don't want to do anything. I want to sit on the couch and relax and do nothing, where you are about to hit your
Yeah.
stride of being like, woo,
Right.
let's get it done.
My second win. Yeah.
So I guess that the whole point of this is to work smarter, not harder,
Right. Yeah.
recognize what you're good at. And for me, it's like I also recognize that I'm a procrastinator. And so I have now picked my hardest thing to start with now to get it over with. It used to be the other way around that I would start easy, but now I'm recognizing that if I really want to get things done, because I can procrastinate all day long and come up with reasons why, oh, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. No, I got to start right away. So it's funny how we're all a little different on what our strengths and weaknesses are.
Right. And so we can't look back and say the people that we come in contact with that are most successful are all morning people. That's
Yeah, not
not the truth,
true. Mm-mm,
right? But
not
they
true.
stop waiting for that perfect moment in their life and they start just leaning into their own strengths or start using the time that is available. I remember having a member once that shared using the cracks in her day, right?
Yes.
Like it could just be that I've got this like 5 minutes. It's not really enough time to do much, but instead of doomsday scrolling, I could toss in a load of laundry or I could quick empty out the dishwasher. I could do 10 squats in the kitchen. But if I'm always looking for that perfect half hour, that hour of time, or that season of life where things aren't stressful, crazy, exciting, company, holidays, you name it, that perfection is never going to come. And so then we're back into last week's episode of looking for that perfection and that all or nothing mindset. And so we really see the most success when somebody just looks at their strengths, utilizes them, and especially when it comes to the time of the day where they can like use these cracks of their day to get things done.
Yeah. It does circle back to the all or nothing thinking of like, you don't have to go to the gym for an hour. That's not what you need. You just need to move your body. Even if it's just a few minutes, a couple times a day, that all adds up. So I think we get into this thought process of it has to be a look and be a certain way. And that's just not the case.
And that just kind of guides us right into the third strategy of what we have noticed from members and clients to say, we're all starting at the same time, but why is so and so so much more successful than me? They move their body. And not just because they're trying to move the scale,
Yes.
but they're right. Like, so, like you mentioned, we're not going to have that perfect time to go to the gym. Maybe I don't even want to go to the gym, but I need to stop being so sedentary. And boy, technology, life, our resources really have allowed us to just kind of sit, right? We are more sedentary than ever before. Heart disease and high blood pressure and high cholesterol are on the rise. A lot of that cardiovascular health is being affected because we're not moving our body and we're not allowing all of that blood to flow and oxygen to flow to all of our extremities. And so people who stick with it don't necessarily move. Let me take that back. People who stick with it don't move to lose weight, they move to feel better. And so when we say that, what does that mean? To move to feel better.
What I've noticed is the longer I sit, the worse I feel. And they have studies where remember back in the day when there was something wrong with you and they'd be like, "Well, you need to rest."
Yeah.
Now they're saying not rest, move. Move your body because getting the blood circulating, getting out, getting fresh air, moving about, most of us, when we sit for too long, we get stiff and we get weak. And so that's
And
just a
then
vicious cycle.
right, and if I'm feeling stiff and weak, I don't feel like moving. So it
Mhm.
really is a catch-22, and now
Or
my
you
joint
don't think you can.
right. And really, if we did it, we'd be able to do it longer. I mean, think about those in, retirement homes or nursing homes. I mean, I feel like I noticed that even with my own grandmother. Like, as soon as she became immobile, the health just declined. And granted, there was a surgery and some other things that preluded that, but it was her not being able to be up and moving around is when the big change in her health kind of happened. And so that motion is lotion, right? Your joints aren't going to hurt if we move them more, but also just the mental clarity that might also give us the rest that we are associating with. I just want to lay like a slug on the couch and, binge watch an 8-episode Netflix show or something. That could be the rest I need, but probably I need the rest of the mental clarity to decide what can get let go of, what can get delegated, maybe to think it through to realize that it's not as big and overwhelming as I thought it was when I was laying and sitting and doing nothing but just consuming this one piece of stress. So it's almost like a stress regulator when we're
Yeah,
moving.
for sure.
Yeah. Anything else that I guess comes with a movement, or why are we seeing success from those who move? Because, like you said, we're not seeing members that are more successful because they have gym memberships or they're at the gym 5 hours a week or longer. In some ways, I think that causes more stress on their body and could slow down the scale.
Mhm.
But what else are you noticing from members who are doing some type of daily movement?
It ripples into everything they do. I mean, the ones who've discovered new activities that they feel successful with, you can almost see like the light in their eyes of realizing if I can do this, then I can do that. And they're far more willing to try new things,
Oh,
whether it's trying new foods or new technology, whatever. It just seems to ripple out into more than just the health world, but like their whole world collectively, and they're happier. And when you're happy, you
they
don't
tend to make
you,
healthier decisions, right?
you tend to feel better about eating a salad instead of cookies.
Right. And so if we're looking at these three strategies or these three behaviors that we are seeing impact success, I think all of them are a strategy or a system that we have to put into place. And then the side effect becomes the weight loss, right? And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, look, the scale's going down. Well, it's going down because I'm mentally and emotionally happier. I have more energy. My joints don't hurt. I have a plan. I know what I'm buying at the grocery store. I know how much money's in my checking account. All of that is kind of coming together. And that leads to the side effect of, oh, and by the way, my jeans are getting a little too loose.
Yeah. I heard a quote recently that
Yeah.
said the heaviest weight in the gym is the front door. Really, I really do believe the hardest part of activity is just starting, just walking out the door because we think it has to be a certain way. It doesn't have to be a certain way. Walking is
Yeah.
enough, that in itself. And it can be walk to your neighbor, walk to your mailbox, walk
Yeah.
the perimeter of the grocery store. I think about some people who used to walk around the perimeter of Home Depot and they would keep
Yeah.
track of their laps on the dust on the paint cans with little hash marks.
Yeah. Shout out Sue and Cheryl, right? Like in
Yes.
the Home Depot workers, be like, good job, girls, keep going.
Yeah.
It's why we're wearing dumb devices, right? I've got my Apple Watch on, you've got your Samsung Watch or your whatever it is, our Fitbits that are telling us to breathe, to stand, to move. Gosh, we shouldn't need technology to remind us about that. But
We
this is
shouldn't, but
where
we
that
do.
we do. It's the power of the pause of just taking a moment to breathe, to make sure that we've not sat for longer than an hour without getting up and at least walking to the washroom, going and getting a drink of water, something along those lines. I always think of that quote, when you want something bad enough, you find a way. And when you don't, you find your excuse.
Mm,
So Even
I'm
back.
great with excuses.
Right. Well, we're going to call it our reason because I don't want to call it an excuse. But all three of these strategies can fall into that, right? Like if I don't really know why I want this bad enough, I'm going to fall into all of the things that we mentioned last week with the the indicators of struggle. And so these three indicators of success might not be flashy. They might be the same things that you'll hear on 100 other podcasts or 5 different magazine art, front pages when you're shopping at the grocery store this week. But the reason that you're going to see it and hear it so often is because there's research that supports it. It doesn't have to be big and flashy. You just need to start and to start small with something that you can do and that you can feel confidence in. And just as Erin said, then that's going to build more self efficacy and more confidence. And I'm going to do the next better thing for myself and my health. Right. So it's not what
100%.
we did in December of 2025, it's what we're going to do next.
Well, somebody said, really, it's from January to December. That's what counts. We just need to realize that December is gone. We already did it. Let's just move on. It's a fresh new year, 12 chapters ready to go.
Absolutely. So hopefully these three strategies might resonate with you, but don't feel like you have to do all three. Maybe take one of these and figure out which one do I want to start with this week. Is it writing down my why? Is it starting to come up with a grocery shopping list? Finding 5 minutes in your day to do some movement? Or is it, what was the other one?
Recognizing your strengths, what time of day you feel the strongest. Are you a night person? Are you a morning person? When do you feel the most energetic to do the things?
Yeah. So if this was helpful, please make sure that you like and subscribe, share it with a friend, and make sure you stick around for another episode of Jen's Coaching Corner. Happy New
Next.
Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Thanks.
Have you ever noticed how two people can start the exact same health journey at the exact same time, and one seems to fly past to the finish line while you feel like you're crawling, and suddenly all your joy is gone? Comparison sneaks in and steals it away. I want to remind you of something really important today. Comparison is the thief of joy, especially when it comes to your weight and health goals. So let's just imagine two women starting off together. Same plan, same health coach, same timeline, but one loses weight quickly. Her energy improves, her clothes fit differently, things are moving fast. And the other, she's doing all the work. She's showing up, but the scale is moving slower. Her body seems to be resisting a little bit. She needs more adjustments, more patience, and more consistency. And this is when the danger starts to show up, not in the progress, but in the comparison. We start asking, what's wrong with me? Why can she do it and why can't I? Maybe my body's broken. Maybe I'm supposed to just be this way. But here's the truth. Our bodies are not calculators, and they are not copy and paste machines. They're hormonal, emotional, lived-in systems with histories and stress levels and different sleep patterns, gut health, trauma, and different seasons of life that all play a role in our success. Needless to say, we also have different metabolisms, different hormones, different life demands, and different starting points. And different does not mean less than. The moment we start measuring our worth against somebody else's timeline is the moment we stop seeing our own progress. We miss all of our small wins, all the times that we said no to emotional eating, every time that we chose to take a walk instead of giving up. We forget days that we slept better and had fewer cravings, and how we're starting to rebuild trust with our own bodies. That's healing. It's success. We have to notice those small victories because your journey isn't supposed to look like hers. Sometimes the slower the journey is the stronger one because it builds resistance. You're learning habits, and that self doesn't disappear the moment that life gets stressful and hard. So instead of asking yourself, why is she ahead of me? Try asking, what is my body teaching me right now? What can I celebrate today? What's one step forward that I can take? It's not what I just did, it's what I'm going to do next. So stay in your lane, honor your pace, and let joy stay with you, not comparison. Because the goal isn't to be the fastest, the goal is to become the healthiest, strongest version of you, mind, body, and heart. And that's worth taking your time.
Thanks for joining us. Click the link to subscribe, and here's the next video.